Let's go, it's the Whitey Show. Whitey Show. Whitey Show. Whitey Show. Whitey Show. So, Dragon Age 2 begins with Hawke, who's the main character, and he's escaping from the Darkspawn with his family, and basically they eventually end up in Kirkwall, which is the main city, is where the most of the game, takes place. Hawke is destined to become a champion. We know that right away from the story, which is told in basically past tense. It's told by one of your companions, Varric. Varric, is that how you say it? I'm sorry if I'm getting it wrong, you crazy. I say it wrong. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, he's telling the story about Hawke. So you're basically playing through his mind of how the story went. And there's certain moments in the story where it's fake and it's funny and that's all cool. It's a cool way of telling the story, but it's his point of view basically. However, the main character is Hawke, and then you get these companions through the game. Everybody's played a Bioware game. You know how it's set out. And you're basically here to not save the world like in Dragon Age 1. It's more of building your characters up. And I personally like this way a little more. It's more like Mass Effect 2, whereas you basically gather these characters, you help them out, you learn more about them. The story here is a more character-driven game. However, the story does pick up at the second half of Act 2 and especially Act 3, whereas Act 1 and part of Act 2 are more character driven. But what makes the ending so good is because you learn so much about these characters, in my opinion. So as long as you're ready for a slow start, which is basically the only negative thing of this game, it starts really building up towards the end. You get these great characters, in my opinion, better than Dragon Age 1. And the dialogue, of course, is top notch. Bioware always comes through with that. And the voice acting is some of the best in RPGs. So overall, I personally think the story was very well done. It might have not been on the level of epicness as Dragon Age 1, but it definitely had better character development. Dragon Age 2 definitely goes for a new graphical design. It looks brighter, it looks more colorful, more kind of cel-shaded look, whereas the first one was more of a dark atmosphere. It was gloomy, everything was, we must fight to the death, whereas this is more like, let's whoop some ass. It's a little different atmosphere you get. However, both games definitely have their own set graphical design. I like them both. However, at the same time, this game definitely upgrades a lot of stuff. The animations, in my opinion, are a hell of a lot better. I know some people don't like the over-the-top teleporting, jumping over people. I personally think it was a great addition. It's more active, it's more fun to look at. The spells look phenomenal. My favorite thing in the game, obviously, would be the upgrade to the facial. They actually look better in this game. Like, they look next-gen at least. I mean, they're not as high as Mass Effect 2, but they look good. Whereas in Dragon Age 1, they were kind of lacking, let's be honest. Now, what is bad about the graphics is the reuse of maps. If I'm going to play cave missions, let's have a cave look a little different. Instead of having 7 different caves look exactly the same. The reuse of maps is a major thing for some people. For me, actually, it wasn't that big of a deal because I love Persona, and that's what it was, playing through the same looking fucking levels throughout the game. And it doesn't affect me that much, but for a game of this high budget and from a company of this caliber, we expect new maps for every cave. Come on. But that's basically the only negative thing. I think it's an upgrade from 1, and it definitely looks pretty good. But the reuse of maps is definitely a negative feature. Dragon Age 2 definitely tries something different with the gameplay. And this is where I think the split point comes, where some people will not like the new gameplay direction and some really will. First off, let me start by saying there's 3 classes. There's Rogue, Warrior, and Mage. And each one feels very different, and that's personally what I liked about this one, whereas Origins, they really didn't feel that different, and basically every class can use almost every weapon. It's kind of the point of what the hell is the difference. In this game, the Warrior can use a 2-handed weapon or sword and shield, the Rogue can use dual wielding and archery, and then you got the Mage who can obviously shoot the shit out of people with magic. So each class definitely makes you feel different, and that's good for replayability. Saying that, the gameplay is definitely more action-based this time. You're going to actually click buttons to attack. Oh my god, it's a brand new feature, Jesus Christ. When you click Y, you'll see your character slash down, if you're a two-handed warrior, and cut these Darkspawn in half, or people in half. If you click A, you'll watch your character. Every time you click A, he'll actually hit, instead of just clicking A and watching your character repeatedly attack like an MMO. In this game, you actually do the action. That's the big difference. And I personally think the upgrade to the speed of the battle is a freaking welcome. Thank God. You actually beat battles in a few seconds, whereas in one, you basically watch them slowly attack, and it's boring. And sure, this tries to be a little over the top, and some people won't like that, but the new combat system is faster, better, and in every way, I like it a lot more. So with that, the dialogue choice now with the wheel, to me, is more interesting. Again, I'm going to divert back to Mass Effect. You basically pick the choices of either being an asshole, nice, or sarcastic. This makes Hawke a more interesting character, and in my opinion, a better way of telling the story than you basically being a nameless, no-voice hero. And, like I said, the other positive thing is each class definitely feels different, brings replayability. The negative features, I don't really have too many in the gameplay department, but there are a few things that kind of bother me. The armor preset for your teammates. This really pissed me off. You basically can't change your people's armor, your teammates, and that kind of sucks because they're going to wear the same armor and they're going to look same throughout the entire game. Now, I did, however, get Marrow to change her suit. Now, I'm not sure if that's because I boned her or it's because I picked up a suit somewhere along the way and she looks different. I'm not really sure why she changed her outfit, but it's cool. I can't figure out how to change anybody else's. But even if you could change once or twice during the game, it's not like the first where there's multiple armors for each of your teammates. That really bugged me, and I think that's definitely a negative feature. And the other thing I have to say is there's a few bugs in the game. Very few little bugs. Like sometimes the cutscene replays again, or the eyes twitch. Nothing major, but they're there. And the AI leaves something to desire. I'm talking about when my healer runs into the middle of the battle in a boss fight and gets killed in 2 hits. Why are you running in the middle of a boss battle, idiot? That's basically the only really negative things I have to say. Everything else is an upgrade to Dragon Age 1, from the quest system to the battle system. It's just a lot more fun. But there's little negative features that bring the gameplay down. It's not perfect, but definitely an upgrade from the first. So, to me, the enjoyment section is more the personal section, as always, and this is where the highest rating will happen. Why? I simply loved Dragon Age 2. It's a fun, interesting RPG. Simple as that. Does it have problems? Yes. I addressed the problems that bothered me. There's other problems that might hurt other people. The story, like I said, takes a while to get into, or the gameplay change is not to their liking, or the graphical design to them isn't very well done. Hey, that's all your opinion, guys. You're allowed to have it. I'm not disagreeing with you. However, I addressed the negative features in my opinion. There's a few of them. The armor preset, the, small glitches, the AI is and the reuse of maps is not the greatest thing. However, putting that all aside, you want to know, is Dragon Age 2 fun? And I'm here to tell you, in my personal opinion, Dragon Age 2 is so fun. It is an amazing RPG adventure for me. Is it perfect? No. It does have a few minor things, and hopefully we can see that fixed in Dragon Age 3. But do I think it's an upgrade in almost every way from 1? Yes, and I loved 1. I gave it a very high rating. I still agree with it, but we need a change, an upgrade, and that's what Dragon Age 2 does. Is it the upgrade that Mass Effect 1 got to 2? Not quite, but we do get an upgrade nonetheless. Is there improvement that could be done? Yes. The game is very split. I'm not telling you to go out and buy it. You may not like it. I would suggest trying out the demo. However, if you want an epic character-driven story, not so much an epic scale of gathering armies and fighting the Darkspawn and all that, but character-driven and care about these characters, you will probably enjoy Dragon Age 2. Try out the demo, see if you like the combat. If you do, I really would suggest picking up this game. I absolutely had a blast playing it. It's one of my favorite games of the year so far. Putting aside all the little negative features I have about it, it is a great game, in my opinion.
Well equipped for bandits, but dead is dead and the road is clear. Captain Jevon needs to know of this. Back to the barracks for your just reward.